Hi, Granny Dot here, and here's the story I'm going to be reading to you today. It is a really wonderful story about a dog named Mozzie. It's Mozzie's Adventures in Petlandia. This book, I'll read this. This book was given to Dory and Colin, and there's a little note in the front, which I shall read. To Dory and Colin, may this book always be a reminder of how much you and Mozzie all adore each other, and how Mozzie was your very first family pup as a married couple. This may be fun someday to share with non-furry little ones romping about. That note was written by Dory's mom. And here's a picture of, like a map of Petlandia. Mozzie lived in Stoughton, Wisconsin, United States of America, and he dreamt of being a star with his very own TV show and chauffeur-driven car. But being cute and furry made stardom rather tough, especially as the only words he knew were woof and ruff. Feeling brave, he folded up his PJs and a flannel, along with some ideas for his Mozzie YouTube channel. Fumbling in the darkness, he scrawled a doggy note, then kissed Dory and Colin and went to get his coat. Scampering through the moonlit streets with thoughts of being wealthy, Mozzie stopped beside a sign and thought, I'll take a selfie. Pulling out his iPhone, he posed and took a snap, then headed to the airport while squinting at his map. Mozzie was excited because he'd never flown before, unless you count that time he slammed a laptop on his paw. And as the plane took off, he thought of A-list hounds and mutts while trying to squish his nose into a teeny bag of nuts. When Mozzie got to Hollywood, he set up several meets, but most of them went wrong because he tinkled on the seats. And even though he tried his best, the top dogs weren't impressed. We've seen your act before, kid, and look at how you're dressed. With failure after failure, Mozzie's confidence was shrinking. But then he saw a saxophone, which kind of got him thinking. I need to learn some new tricks to really make me shine. And then I'll make some videos and post them all online. Meanwhile, back in Stoughton, Dory found a note. My dog thinks he'll be famous. Oh, what a silly goat. But suddenly, Colin looked up and saw Mozzie on the news. He'd become an online superstar with 50 million views. It seems dogs can learn new tricks, Dory thought out loud, and Colin started laughing. They both felt very proud. There was Mozzie on a chat show, toodling away, while teetering on a unicycle, doing dog ballet. Soon the world was going wild for Mozzie's jolly tunes. You could even buy a storybook and see him in cartoons. He bought a doggy mansion and a limo and a yacht. He even met the president and partied quite a lot. Other doggies lined up to shake Mozzie by the paw, and scripts for pet-based movies came tumbling through the door. He'd sit and count his money while lounging on his throne. But when he wasn't working, he'd often be alone. Because he felt so lonely, Mozzie bought more stuff. But even though he had it all, it was never quite enough. He tried some doggy yoga, which he thought might make him happy, but that just tied him up in knots and made him sore and snappy. Uh, then suddenly it hit him as he chewed his oldest bone. What Mozzie wanted most was to be snuggled back at home. Yes, he'd miss his fancy life, the palm trees and his chauffeur, but none of that compared to cuddling Dory on the sofa. He called off all his concerts and he gave away his things. But all flights home were fully booked. So he clung onto the wings of the airplane. Whoa. Hanging on for dear life as the plane took to the skies made Mozzie think of tummy rubs, and tears welled in his eyes. Excuse me a moment. Soaring high over Stoughton, Mozzie thought, I've had a hoot, but home is where the heart is. So I need to parachute. Fumbling in his suitcase, he found a sparkly gown, then used it as he leaped off to sort of slow him down. Tumbling through the fluffy clouds was really quite a rush, but Mozzie had to slow down or he'd soon be doggy mush. Just then, he saw a mattress dumped upon a roof, so he steered himself towards it and landed with a whoof. Jumping into Colin's arms, Mozzie cried with joy. Then Dory squeezed the squeaker in a squishy, squashy toy. Fame is pretty epic, but snuggling is the best, thought Mozzie as he curled up to enjoy a well-earned rest. Miles away in Hollywood, things were much the same, and countless pets arrived each day to search for wealth and fame. They often spoke about that dog who played the saxophone and how he left it all behind because he missed his home. But Mozzie wasn't bothered that he'd given fame the shove because his trip had taught him that what really counts is love. Okay. Mozzie, Mozzie, come over here. Come on, come here. Well, no. Come on. Look at the camera. I like you to meet the real life Mozzie.
Try to get him in the camera
there. Yes.
That's Mozzie.
Yeah. Good. Oh, good dog. Yes.
And he's a snuggler, as you can see.
Yeah. That was all about you, yes. You are famous. Oh, we love you. Whether even if you wouldn't be famous, we would still love you. Okay, dokie.
Oops. Hold on. Bust you on the camera.
So I know all of you will love Mozzie also. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.